What's up, conscious creators? It's Alex here, and in this video I'm going to be sharing with you how to dramatically increase your level of attractiveness to other people so you can date more people, have more success on those dates, and massively increase your chances of turning one of those dates into a relationship if you choose to do so and it's all going well. This video is for men and women. I'm not going to bullshit you with some ridiculous psychological trick or pickup strategy. By the end of this video, I will have given you what I found out on my journey and through coaching others about the foundations of attraction so you can sustainably bring incredible, fulfilling connections into your life instead of trying to impress others or manipulate others into liking you. Now, first things first, am I saying I'm the most attractive and charismatic person in the world? No, obviously not at all. Far from it. And there are probably millions upon millions of women who do not and will not ever like me. However, I am aware that after years of unwinding many dysfunctional habits and attitudes and behaviors, I'm attractive to many more people than I used to be a few years ago when I found it very difficult to attract barely anyone, especially the types of people that I wanted to date. So I went on a bit of a journey to try and learn a thing or two about what makes meeting members of the opposite sex that I want to meet more likely. And I wanted to share some of those things with you. And the reason why I'd love you to pay close attention to this video is, like I said, this isn't going to be some kind of weird trick or quick fix. It's going to be rooted in reality, and I'm going to give you honesty. And before we get to it, yes, I know looks and genes come into it. I know that taking care of yourself also increases attractiveness, but I'm not going to talk about things you can't change. I'm going to give you the real things that really helped me so that by the end of this video, you'll be able to transcend these things altogether and simply become permanently more attractive. And I'm going to break this down into 7 foundational pillars that all work together to increase attractiveness. So make sure you listen right through to the end so that even if you feel like you already know something that I'm saying, you get all the information and you can apply it holistically to get more of the results that you're after. So each pillar is going to make this increasingly more powerful as we progress. So stick with me here. And the first pillar is to attract people who are truly like you and are truly like you, you first have to truly be you out in the world for others to see. I'm going to say this one more time because it's so important. To attract people who truly like you and are truly like you, you first have to truly be you out in the world for others to see. Maybe this is obvious to some people, but I'd like for you to be really honest with yourself and reflect on how much you're actually embodying this. And yes, I know it's easy just to say, just be you. But how do we actually be ourselves fully when all these thoughts are coming up saying how we should play small, don't talk to that person, don't be silly, don't do that thing or you'll make a fool out of yourself, don't be yourself, otherwise people won't like you. This comes with the knowledge that you are not your thoughts, that they're an aspect of you, but not who you truly are at the deepest level. And I have a 7-minute video on this called How to Stop Caring What People Think About You, which a link to will pop up here, which will show you how to tap into where all your natural confidence and authenticity will arise from. So have a click on that and come back to this if you're having trouble being truly you. But even if it is the case, an easy way to bring out more of yourself in courtship situations is to just prioritize fun and lightheartedness. At the end of the day, when we're confident and relaxed, most of us tend to lean towards what? Humour, fun, playfulness, being self-entertained and light-hearted. And then comes the next step. To maximise your chances of bumping into the right people, being out in places where you're more likely to find your people. Even if you're, shy or an introvert, if you really look in a few different places or ask around, you will find places where you can pursue your interests in an environment conducive to meeting people. Some, people like to even bury their heads in some sketch or drawing down the local pub, so there's no pressure to talk to anyone, but the opportunity is still there, and that's actually a thing here in Bristol. There's a meetup group for that. There's climbing groups, poetry groups, and philosophy groups, and even if there aren't any groups based around your interests, you can create one. And they're an excellent opportunity to meet people in an environment where you're able to sink into your authentic self more easily and attract people who you really are much more like, rather than having to put on some facade or attempting to catch someone in a passing moment. And if you really want to step things up, you should become a leader. You should become an expert in something that really interests you and lights you up, and speak from your heart about it online or out in public. Whether it's a fitness group or a games group or putting on talks or workshops or making videos, those who it interests will gravitate towards you, and some of them will be the sex you want to attract, and some of them will like you, because someone who's unapologetic about doing what interests them and speaking from the heart about it is super attractive. Have a passion and don't be afraid to talk about it passionately. The fact that you're passionate about it is more important than what it specifically is. And even if it is something that some others might think is strange to be interested in, like lucid dreaming or astral projection, it doesn't matter, because those who are into it aren't bothered about that. It won't scare them away, and will be interested in you because you were the one to take the helm and create value for others. So the second pillar is to stop trying to win people over. Stop, if you're doing this, trying to impress people. Don't go on dates trying to impress the other person. Go on dates primarily to find out if this person is right for you. And of course, the way you do that is to have fun on the date and crack silly jokes and share some aspects of yourself so that person can get an idea if you're right for them too. But it's a huge transformational shift when you stop worrying about trying to impress the other person or worrying about whether the other person will like you, and instead be more interested in just sharing fun and enjoyment with the other person, and ultimately tapping into your intuition to reveal whether or not you're right for each other in the long term. Let's say you're into anime for some reason and you're embarrassed about that. You don't ever talk about it because you're worried about, what the other person will think and if they'll approve, and, then maybe they won't like you if they don't. Well, in the short term, sure, maybe could just continue to attract people, but it will be based on a facade rather than your true personality. And the person who does resonate with your interests and your true personality will never get to see it, and you'll never get to be together. So stop trying to attract, if you are trying to attract people who aren't right for you. Every time you catch yourself trying to perform or trying to impress someone, just remember the only sustainable relationships you'll ever have is those who accept you for who you are. The third pillar is to remember you can't be attractive to everyone. Many people won't be romantically into you no matter who you are. Some people just won't like your tone, your mannerisms, your style, or your interests, or your beliefs. Some people will judge you too quickly and become mentally identified with those judgments instead of seeing you for who you are. And those people probably aren't right for you. There are all kinds of reasons as to why someone won't feel an attraction to you. And it might well be something within them. It might even be that being around you exposes an aspect of themselves that they didn't, really want to look at, something they've been running away from. And if you're open and then you gravitate towards someone who's closed off, they might feel threatened by that. Like I say, it could be for a wide variety of reasons. Now, this isn't an excuse to be, just socially uncalibrated and just drive everyone away with a lack of awareness about how you're acting and how others perceive that. But it does mean that once you realize, no matter how good looking or confident or authentic you are, some people just won't be into you, and that's okay. We don't need to attract everyone. We can spend more time around people we actually have the chance for a deep, authentic link with. Makes sense, right? The fourth pillar is to have your life defined more so by the present moment and your vision of the future rather than by stories of the past. Now, I'm not saying never talk about the past. Of course, a lot of bonding and connection could be formed through the sharing of shared experiences, but in a lot of cases, an over-attachment to the past perpetuates the creation of a familiar future instead of a compelling future that you're excited and inspired by. So, as well as periodically sharing your past with people, if you want to, think about sharing what you're inspired by, what you want to create, your compelling vision of the future. Whether that's building a multi-million-dollar empire or simply just becoming healthier and growing and learning or becoming more connected to yourself. Because as well as your ability to be here now, a shared vision of the future brings people together in that vision and is one of the foundations for a sustainable relationship. It's a sustainable relationship. The fifth pillar is, as well as talking about the past and future and your interests, sink into the ability to just be here now. We might not be able to hear the thoughts of others just yet, but you can pick up when someone's lost in thought all the time instead of being in the moment. So if you're on a date, remember, you don't have to fill every single second with thoughts and words. Sometimes it's fine just to be aware and present and in the present moment with that person, instead of being lost in a mental landscape of internal chatter and judgments. And as soon as you break the habit of excessive thinking and are able to be present with the other person will pick up on that, and it will catalyze presence and awareness in them, which will bring both of you closer together. Not on a surface level of mental concepts about the other person, but on a deeper level true to who you are in the here and now. And if you want to learn more about this, it's a common theme on my channel, so be sure to subscribe and hit the notifications bell. Yeah. So, the sixth pillar is, don't be expending all of your sexual energy all of the time. Anyone who's familiar with my channel will also know I've talked about NoFap quite a lot, and it's, one of the reasons is so many of us are expending all of our sexual energy on porn or fantasy until we have nothing really to give to someone else. Too much of it and you'll be wiring your brain for pixels rather than people, and you'll barely even be able to get turned on by the other person. Never forget, a sexual relationship involves sex, and so you'll have no drive left or no motivation to meet people with the potential for a sexual relationship if you're constantly satiating yourself through, all of this high-speed internet porn we have nowadays. Infinite novelty. Sex energy is seen by many as the life force, one of our strongest psychological drives, and you remove all that energy if you expend it all. So leave some of that energy within, and it's highly likely you'll see your ability to attract people greatly increase. The seventh pillar is the hardest hitting truth. but it's actually liberation when you can embody this. You need to drop any idea of needing someone to make you happy or fill a void within you. You need to drop any idea of needing someone to make you happy or fill a void within you. It seems like a bitter pill to swallow, but I myself once had to do it. I had a period of time hoping someone else would come in and give me the joy that I wasn't creating for myself. And it's a recipe for dysfunction and codependency. And I recognize sometimes it can be a challenge. Even if you get close with someone for a short period of time and you part ways, it can be a challenge. The ego gets triggered by, this sense of feeling unworthy or being rejected, even if you know logically it was for the best and you weren't right for each other anyway. Because, of course, I can recognize a whole world of positive emotion is shared in a healthy, conscious relationship. I would never deny that. Some of the most enjoyable times in my life have been with someone that I feel deeply connected with. And it's natural to have that deep desire for partnership and connection and all the experiences that go along with it. But it's actually the acceptance of these rejections, acceptance of the dates that didn't work out, the people that were destined to only be friends. Even though these situations, they usually don't feel good, the inner acceptance of them liberates you from that clutching, needing sensation where, when you just need someone to absolve you of that loneliness. And there's a big difference between needing and wanting. I mean, think about it this way. Imagine if someone came up to you and said, "Please, I need you to make me happy, fill a void within me." That's a lot of pressure, right? Do you really want that pressure? Do you really want to be tasked with someone being dependent on you for their happiness and well-being? Because ultimately, at some point, one of you won't be able to deliver. One of you won't be able to fill your part of the bargain, and, it's pretty likely that the whole thing will become dysfunctional and eventually fall apart. It's much better to be at peace within yourself and to be able to experience your own positive emotions and then share that peace and those positive emotions with someone else rather than expecting that other person to give them to you. Of course, some of us need to heal, or some of us are on a healing or awakening journey, and we'll never reach a point of perfection or sainthood because we're human. Of course, I can recognize that. But as much as possible, don't wait for your new relationship to feel love. Don't wait for your new relationship to be at peace and feel happiness. And don't wait for your new relationship to really do what you want in life. We can all go forth and create our compelling future, knowing if someone else comes in to share that with us, then, even better. And when people can feel that you're not needy, you become ridiculously attractive to many. You're not needing them to come in and satisfy you. You've already got your own thing going on. You've filled up your bowl with ice cream yourself. You're not expecting anyone else to come in and fill it up for you, but you're open to someone else coming along with their bowl of ice cream so you can mix it all up together and eat ice cream together. So, just to recap, be yourself out in the world for others to see. Stop trying to impress people and win them over if you're trying to do that. Stop trying to attract people who you'll never resonate with anyway. Remember the halo effect. Remember, you can't be attractive to everyone. Have your life defined more so by a vision of the future rather than stories of the past. Have the ability to be here now, in the present moment with the other person, instead of being constantly lost in thought. Avoid expending all of your sexual energy and drop the idea of needing someone to make you happy or fill a void within you. Be open to finding the peace that's inherent in your essential nature, and share that ice cream with others, because if you do all of those things together, I promise you, you will dramatically increase your level of attractiveness, you could put it. Of course, you're beautiful. Anyway, so you can meet more people that you resonate with, have fun dates, connections, make new friends, increase the chances of meeting your next life partner. On this channel, we share strategies for conscious personal growth and pointers back towards awareness so we can create more of what we want in our lives and have a positive impact on the world. So if you want more of that, don't forget to subscribe and hit all when you hit that notifications bell so you don't miss out on any new videos helping you with conscious personal growth.